21 day no sugar detox. Today is on my 18th day and I'll be doing it for around 24 or 25 days. I'm doing 21 days and then I'm doing 3 days of raw vegan. And I'm vegan at this time, so it's a no sugar detox, and as well as no animal products. I am eating quinoa and potatoes and beans. I don't eat potatoes and beans too often. I mostly eat quinoa and lots of salads and lots of stir-fried greens. So this is no fruits, no dried fruits, no like honeys or maple syrups or anything like this. So I've been experimenting with my diet for like a long time, but really I've been really like playing with it. I think since a little under a year. I think the last 10 months I've been doing lots of different fasts, like, you know, having juice fasts and then doing raw vegan for a bit. And I was looking for like what is going to like change my energetic nervous system in terms of like outside stimulus. I do a lot of meditation. I've started doing breath work. And I do a lot of different modalities that allow me to go really deep into myself and to kind of process my energetic and emotional bodies, and, you know, reveal a lot. And I'm in an environment where there's a lot of plant medicine happening, so a lot of wachuma and ayahuasca and lots of plant medicines, but I'm not super in the frequency of plant medicine. So I look at every plant as medicine. So I'm like, how is my food medicine? How can I change the way I interact with my food to sort of offer me a different stimulus? And so I had this thought at the beginning of May. I'm like, sugar. I've been eating fruit salads every morning for like the last 3 months, and it's delicious. You know, I'm in the Sacred Valley of the Incas, so I'm not far from the jungle. I'm not in the jungle, I'm in the mountains, so I'm not far from the jungle. And the fruits we get are so incredible. We get like beautiful mangoes and pineapples and papaya, and I just been having amazing fruit salads and I love them. I'm very grateful for them. But it is a lot of sugar. Even if it's natural sugars, it is quite sweet, and also the quality of soil and where these fruits are exactly coming from. I do get a beautiful, beautiful vegetable bag like 3 times a month from a very local, like a 40-minute walk away farm. That's really gorgeous. But my fruits, I don't know exactly where they're coming from. They have strawberry fields here, and so that's really great. But some of my fruit might be sprayed with different things, and also they might be hybrids, or they just might not be in their full natural nutrient bodies because of different changes that have happened with the soil and with different things. And so I was like, something I can do is not eat sugar. I mean, even days I don't eat fruit salad, I might still have a banana or have a piece of fruit. It's so normal to have fruit, and that's a lot of sugar, albeit natural sugar, but still sugar. So I was like, well, this will be really new for my body to not have any sugar. So I started on May 6th, and in the beginning my energy dipped like super low, and then it went like high. I think I've kind of been like riding different waves, and now my energy, I've always kind of have different energy bodies in terms of like how energetic I can be. I've been noticing recently with breath work and some other practices I've been doing has like risen my energy, and I feel like I have more energy throughout the day. And I've been doing a lot of work on setting boundaries and really understanding what is for me and what's not for me. And I find that the more I choose myself, the more I choose my own pleasure, the more energy I have. So that's been incredible. But I'm also just, you know, curious. What more can I do? So yeah, so I tried the sugar, and like mixing all these things together has really, I feel like, offered a different alchemical experience for my emotional and energetic bodies. So a part of what I feel like, so there's a few parts to this, and I feel like kind of drawing sugar out of my body allowed things that were kind of deeply embedded in like around core wounds in my emotional body were able to really surface and shift and like in some ways be extracted the same way I was extracting the sugar, the processed, or rather just like added sugar from the outside. So part of this is ancestral, and so I know through my systemic family constellations that I have ancestors that were slaves on sugar plantation, and I've always felt like this was like a core interaction of how of what it means for me to be here, like what it means for me to be here in this body with these nested matrices of my ego and my physical body and my relationship body is sugar, and how sugar has been in some ways embedded so subtly into almost all of our foods, and how it is also and how the mass production of that sugar was brought through by slaves, and how those slaves are my ancestors, and like what that means. And I love sugar, and I love sweet things, many of us do, and it always felt in some ways like something else, like it was something more than just a sweet tooth. And I know that sugar is, so when we have deep emotions, or you know, when we feel bored, we tend to eat, or when we perhaps have so deep emotions that the body can't process, this is subconscious, we'll have a piece of sugar. And what like even if it's fruit or something sweet, and what sugar does, it kind of numbs a layer of the emotional body so that we don't have to interact with it in the same way. And like many people can do deeper while eating sugar and whatnot. I'm not like knocking sugar, but what I'm saying is that there are ways that we subconsciously kind of like halt our capacity to go deeper into some emotional triggers through food, because food kind of distracts and numbs the system, and we don't process, like our organs of perception are a bit lower. We don't process the same way as when we are without sugar, or in sometimes not with as much food in our system. We tend to be more perceptive to the auric field around us. So I've been aware of this for a while. I'm still eating sugar, you know, still eating food and all the fun things, but with awareness. And I really like lowered my amount of sugar, but I was having quite a lot of dried fruits and regular fruits. So I really have felt during this time that there have been some deep ancestral healings. Like, so I have this theory that sugar is a crystalline substance, and as you know, crystals hold heightened intelligence. So I feel that the hyperproduction of sugar that we're receiving in food is actually an inverted aspect of the organic original crystalline structure of our light body. And one of the ways that we have been controlled and manipulated by others, the powers that be, is through almost every medium we can find inversions and dilutions, but sugar being one of them, and sugar kind of in one way being like a false crystalline aspect that subdues our natural crystalline light body. And I have felt that during this like extraction of the added sugars, I'm in some ways uncovering, reclaiming, resurfacing the organic golden crystalline light structures. You know, I see it as gold or white or blue. I feel like perhaps depends on the person, but like the golden light grid frame of our matrices have really been present to me, and what's possible as we're kind of moving forward in these unprecedented times. So the other part of this that has been super vital for me has been my healing around sexual trauma, and just like the past, I really have felt like a body, like on my right side, has been like yanked out of my system and like transmuted and dissolved into the acid of the galaxies. You know, we all have patterns, right? We all, you know, you might find that we're like attracting the same person, or we're like doing the same things, or in there's some subtle way. For me, there's like some subtle way that I'm not quite activating the highest vibration that I know is possible. And it's like, where in me am I still holding a frequency that is not in line with the life I want to lead? This is like how I view it. It's like somewhere within me, I'm still holding a vibration of wounding. So like I'm meeting people in places of lack instead of meeting people in places of fullness. This is not in every situation, but it can kind of be highlighted in my relationship, my intimate relationships, romantic relationships. And I've been really doing some deep work, and during this quarantine time in the last few weeks, like going deep into like where am I holding this trigger? Where am I holding it? And it's like, I really feel like healing is a miracle. And like, it's this alchemical process that happens, that it's like such a shift within the psychological matrix of the body that it doesn't like quite make logical sense. But I have felt during this time, it really was like I pulled out the body of myself. So the energetic vibration of my past relationships, the one that met people through wounding, the part of me that had a shame of spell, part of me that would get angry instead of speaking her truth, the part of me that would be afraid of hurting people's feelings, the part of me that would say yes when I meant no, the part of me that was so afraid of saying no, like the part of me that met people where we were minuses instead of also predominantly meeting where we were pluses. I could feel like her and all the ones that were attracted to her, all the ones that she fell into relationship with or fell into some sort of toxic patterns with. I felt like she was like pulled out. And you know, I did a ritual with a stone that I have that I called my partner stone, and I like I'm in the mountains here, so I like gave it to the mountain, I gave it to the river. I felt really guided to kind of release this part. And since then I felt there's like this emptiness, there's like this space, and the mind can go quick to like point to something that it's used to, because our mind has help is wants us to survive within the conditioned environment from which it deems safety. And so it has deemed safety from some ways, like mentally attaching to someone and creating a story and like giving an eyes a hope or something. It's all out of love, but it actually in some ways is constricting. And so I've felt the way it's like, oh, okay, and then I'm like, no, there's nothing to touch. There's no pointing. Like that whole vibrational experience is gone, and I actually have no clue. I can't. In some ways, you know, I can dream, but I also can't. I also have to like allow the silence so I don't project the past into my own future. It's sort of this quiet space where I feel really alone and empty, but also free. Like I feel really grateful and really free to know that I am aligning to a vibration that will not match me with who I've been and where I've been, that will match me to who I truly am and who I want to be. And in that space, there's a way that just resting in silence is what seeds the soil that makes that possible. And I've really felt like the sugar detox has really added some sort of possibility and buoyancy in my experience that is really beautiful. And like really, I'm really grateful for it. I'm really grateful to be using food as this sort of medicine, and to really feel the medicine of all the plants around and all the plants that I consume and how they work with me, how everything is working with us. This is a bit of my experience, and I just wanted to share if you feel inspired to perhaps shift your diet in a way to support your own emotional and spiritual growth, as a way to support the processing of what's present for you. Because food's a very subtle and pervasive way of keeping us in certain loops that we're not aware of. And it's okay. Like there's no issue with how we eat and what we eat. I think there's can be a lot of pressure around eating the right thing or whatnot. But when it feels right for you, using food as an ascension tool, using food as a partnership, like walking with food through our enlightenment process, I feel is like the codes and keys of New Earth, because I really feel the new earth that is dawning, that our hearts are calling, that we are dreaming, is one that's in deep communion and synchronicity and symbiosis with the plant kingdoms, the animal kingdoms, the elemental kingdoms, the spiritual kingdoms. And I feel like through this practice of looking at food as an alive substance that is working with us in our emotional processes, we're able to start infusing that knowing into our present moment, and really bringing the life of the plant and animal kingdoms and elemental kingdoms present to us, and equal to us, equal to living in vibrancy around us. And so consuming with that knowing and with that thought in mind, I feel it opens me right now. It like opens the heart. It opens the heart to the bridging of where we are and where we're moving towards. By being now what we want to be, we create the vibration and the opportunity and the frequency of where we want to be. It's like, as that quote goes, be the change you want to see in the world. If I want to go or experience something, I feel like I must first be that experience. Must be the thing I'm seeking. I must be the partner I'm seeking. I must be the love I'm seeking, because at that vibration, I then attract the environment that says yes. It says, yes, you are that. So much love, and speak with you soon.